baby boomer generation. This celebrating the baby boomer generation. This on CIL 650.
No, you're not alone. 'Cause I'm gonna make this place your home.
And welcome to BoomerLife on CIL 650. I'm Joanne Sutton. Thanks for joining us today. Today on BoomerLife, we're going to be talking with HomeCareAssistance. It's a business with a vision to change the way that the world ages, caring individuals who are dedicated to a holistic approach to home care. It's an approach to care that focuses on areas like nutrition, physical exercise, mental stimulation, and the very important social interaction. So joining us in the studio today from HomeCareAssistance, we welcome President Carolina Arosa. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Also joining us in the studio, we have Peter Sillen. Peter is from Diamond Geriatrics. It's a professional service for seniors, family members, and caregivers. We want to say welcome to Peter, and we know we're going to find out a little bit more about you and Diamond Geriatrics in just a moment. But first, we would like Carolina to share with us a little bit of her story and how HomeCareAssistance came to be.
Yeah, so HomeCareAssistance came to be. It's a very personal journey for me, and this is something I feel really passionate about because, you know, my father was diagnosed with cancer a few years ago, and so I was able to witness firsthand the toll it took on our family, on my mom, who was the primary caregiver at that time, and also really the toll it took on us in terms of looking for a private caregiver to care for my father. So it was just very disillusioning for me to see him being treated more like a statistic rather than a human being, and really seeing more of the disease rather than him as a person. You know, we felt like there was such a clear void out there after this whole experience with my father for a company that really caters to people in terms of finding out, you know, who they are as people and really trying to, you know, enhance the quality of their lives rather than just attending to their basic needs. So after, you know, my father eventually passed away, my husband and I looked into going into a business, and this seemed like the best fit because, again, we, you know, experienced it personally, how it feels to need the care and to watch a loved one go through, you know, the pain and the suffering and needing the help. So this was something that was so relevant to us, and you know, 6 years later, here we are.
And it's interesting that you say to watch the pain that the loved one goes through, and that's not just the person experiencing the medical diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
That's also the loved one being the caregiver as your mother as well.
Absolutely.
Did you have any type of medical background or health industry background when you had this vision to start HomeCareAssistance?
Not at all, and it seemed pretty daunting. But again, I think my background is more in marketing and advertising. But I think if you've gone through this, you know, journey, and you have personal experience in this, you know, nothing else matters because you're so passionate about, you know, the industry, about the issues that seniors face, and about helping, you know, the families of the loved ones, the families of those who are going through this. You know, it just fueled my desire to learn and to do well and to help people. So it just all came naturally to me.
So what I hear you saying is that you've actually created a company that truly cares.
Yes.
About seniors in this community. So could you tell us a little bit more about what you mean when we describe what you do as a holistic approach to care? I mentioned that at the top of the show, and I just wondered if you could clear that up for us.
Yeah, so we're not, what I like to say is we're not like a caregiver drive-through agency. When someone calls our company, we're not just going to send out a body. So really what we like to do is send out one of my case managers to do a thorough assessment, really get to know the person, and really not just provide activities of daily living, but really focus on a more holistic approach where we look at, you know, making sure that our clients get the proper nutrition, making sure that they get some level of physical stimulation, mental stimulation, and social interaction. Because we found through experience that this all really helps not just our clients live longer, but help them live more purposeful, higher quality of lives. And this is really our goal, and, you know, speaks to our mission of changing the way the world ages.
So this very special approach to seniors care is one item that clearly sets you apart from other companies that have a similar business model.
Right.
Carolina, what else can you tell us about some of the highlights from Home Care Assistant that also separates you from everybody else?
Yeah, well, the other thing I think that separates us is the fact that we do have case managers who either have social work background or nursing backgrounds that provide ongoing monitoring and supervision for our clients. In addition, we have programs that are very specialized, such as hospital to home care programs, which cater to clients who are discharged from the hospital and need that care to prevent readmission to the hospitals. We have a specialized dementia care program that really is targeted to those who are suffering from some level of cognitive impairment. And so this program that was designed specifically for us is really aimed at slowing cognitive decline. Lastly, we have our very own Home Care Assistance University, which is an online university that our caregivers can access free of charge to take over 100 different courses on different topics around aging and providing care for seniors. So those are just a few things that really set us apart from the other agencies out there.
Oh, it sounds great. And I know we'll talk about a lot of those things in more depth as the show goes on. So we'd like to bring Peter into the conversation now. Peter, thanks for joining us.
Oh, good to be here.
Good. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you do with your company and what for Diamond Geriatrics, and just fill in a few gaps for us if you could.
Well, I'm originally from the U.S. I came to Canada over 40 years ago and got a bachelor's from McGill and then a master's in social work from University of Toronto. And that's actually where I had my first experience working in a nursing home with seniors. And it really touched my heart in a way that I hadn't even expected. So a few years after that, I graduated, came out to Vancouver and did a bunch of things, then went traveling. I just quit work, traveled for a year and a half, came back, bought a house. Then I thought I need a job. Then I got a job in a nursing home. And it was just such a special place to be there with the people and meeting the needs of older people and also learning. It really guided me to the rest of my career. So after about 6 or 8 years, I started Diamond Geriatrics as a private consulting company because I was seeing so many gaps in services and so many people being left behind and families really being lost and confused and frightened and anxious. And I thought there's a need there, and there's something that fits with me personally as a person.
You made a true connection with it, the needs of seniors, and same like Carolina, you noticed that there was a gap, and you're trying to find a way to close that gap.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So what is, in a nutshell, what can you tell us about Diamond Geriatrics, and what does a case manager do?
So I'm calling myself, or we call ourselves geriatric care managers. It's a fairly large profession in the U.S. And what my company does is specialized process called care management. I also do healthcare navigation and advocacy. I do seniors housing consultations, and I'm a certified clinical counselor and a registered social worker now. So I also do individual and couple and family counseling around any of the practical emotional issues of aging. So that's in a nutshell 4 areas.
So I'm trying to get a visual here. If I was in a situation with aging seniors in my home, my parents or friends or family, would I contact someone like you directly, or would I get a referral from my family doctor? Like, I'm just wondering how you fit into the picture.
So you could call me directly. A lot of people find me online. A lot of referrals come in from other families I've worked with. A family doctor might refer, the bank trustees might refer, Carolina and Home Care Assistance might be working with a client and they think, oh, we need a higher, more intense intervention than we are able to provide, and so people come from there. So that's Carolina and I can work very closely together. I refer to her a lot when I need services that her company provides.
Well, I think this is very helpful too, because I didn't even know a service like yours existed, and I'm hoping that we're helping our listeners as well. So, Carolina and Peter, you're both very acutely aware of the need for specialized care for the aging. What can you both offer about what's the current state of affairs in our area?
I mean, well, just from personal experience, I mean, just throwing out the statistic out there, in 2005, there were 4.2 million seniors aged 65 and older in Canada. And Statistics Canada projects there will be 9.8 million seniors by 2036. So clearly there's a huge trend toward aging. And what we've, heard, seen as we're dealing with our senior clients is that there is growing need for private care because the system is clearly overwhelmed. Hospitals don't have enough beds. Extended care facilities have long wait lists. And so a lot of times we have families come to us that just have not been able to get any help from the government and are now realizing I have to turn to private. And so there's been, since the 6 years that I've been in business, a growing understanding of, okay, now there are these private services out there that can help, enhance my quality of life, help me, get through and age gracefully. Whereas before, when I first started 6 years ago, there was a lot more education that was needed around what private care is. Now, because of how many people are aging and are continuing to age, there's now, an acceptance and, in fact, a trend toward actually preferring private service because, people want quality care.
So let's talk about a key aspect of your business, and that's the fact that you provide care wherever somebody's home may be.
Yeah.
It could be, of course, I think the majority of your business is based in a home environment, in somebody's house or an apartment or condo, but there's also a good deal of your business that provides care within a senior's living community. You can even provide care if you have a client that's in the hospital. Like
Yeah.
it just doesn't matter where that person is living. It's wherever they lay their head is their
Yeah,
home.
absolutely. I mean, we actually work really closely and have really good partnerships with a number of independent and assisted living facilities around the Lower Mainland. And the reason is because how we act is we provide supplemental care to their residents, with the goal really being to help promote the independence of their residents, to help them stay in their residence for as long as possible. Because the last thing anyone wants to do, whether they're at home or in a retirement residence, is to leave that place because, they've grown so accustomed to that. For them, that's home. And so our goal is to help them stay there for as long as possible by providing them with that care to help them, stay engaged, stay independent, and thrive in their surroundings.
There's another aspect of what you do I think is really important when you provide those services in some kind of seniors residence or a home, which is that's you're providing relationship. I think that's what all of us do, but especially the caregivers who come in and they're there for sometimes 3, 6, 9, 12 hours a week. And even though a senior's residence may have like lots of activities, activities are different from relationship.
Absolutely.
And people, it's that heart that happens between one-to-one that I think is so important.
Yes.
I really think you've touched on a very significant term, Peter, and so save that thought. We will carry on this conversation in a little more detail. Caroline, could you just touch quickly on what your company represents for a balanced care method? You're looking at the overall picture, and we'll hear a little bit of that, and then we'll go and take a quick break.
Okay, so our balanced care, like I mentioned earlier, is our philosophy of care. And where this really originated was from Okinawa, Japan. So there was a study that was conducted to find out where is the largest concentration of centenarians in the world. And it was discovered that it was in Okinawa, Japan. And the reason for that was just simple, because all these people were living a balanced life. They were eating well. They were engaged, physically, mentally, socially. So we took that model and adopted as our philosophy of care because that for us is an ideal state of aging, to age gracefully like that where people are indeed thriving. And really we want to create that paradigm shift in the market. There's a huge stigma right now around aging and, people who are afraid to age because they feel like they'll be ostracized from society and people who are not, in that age group tend to sometimes look down on those seniors. And, I think it's important for us as a company to be a part of that revolution, to change that mindset because, there is a way to age gracefully and to live a full life, no matter what your age is. And at that age, they've lived so many years, they have so much to contribute to society and so much value and wisdom. And I just want them to be able to continue to share that and for people to be able to appreciate that. So.
I think it's great that you share that philosophy through everything you do at Home Care Assistance.
Thank you.
You're listening to Boomer Life on CL 650, and joining us in the studio today, Carolina Arosa, President from Home Care Assistance, and we're also joined by Peter Sillen, Principal at Diamond Geriatrics. If you have any further questions about today's show and you would like some more information, I suggest you go and visit the website HomeCareAssistanceVancouver.ca. And now that we have a little bit of an understanding of the need for care for seniors and elderly parents in this province, we have a clear understanding of what Home Care Assistance can provide. We're now looking forward to discovering more about how home care providers like Home Care Assistance work with specialized providers like Diamond Geriatrics. We'll find out more about your relationship next on Boomer Life on CL 650.
Celebrating the baby boomer lifestyle. This is Boomer Life on CL 650.